they should be feeling pretty confident. I mean, if you can find a win on Inferno going into your home turf, quote unquote, going to be feeling pretty good if you're Raised by Pixels. And obviously, we'll get into that a little bit more once we get out of this tech pause. But it does put a lot of pressure on Exnitas to make sure they can find a win in map number 1.
Interesting to me that you say that you find the CT side to be more difficult for sure. On paper, generally CTs do pick up more rounds, but the big issue with CT side, I totally understand where you're coming from, is this is one of those maps where 1 or 2 kills sort of defines the round on your T side. You get 1 or 2 kills on a bomb site going in for an execute, and this is probably the least retakeable map in the pool.
Yeah.
Even if you've got 3 players still alive and it's a 3v4 or even a 3v3, you're probably not going for it. You're going to call the save because it's so difficult to get back in those sites. So while yes, on paper, CT side is the more favored, if you have 1 crack in your armor, it quickly snowballs out of hand.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something that if you're Exnitas, you can maybe try and leverage a little bit because, if you're able to get into a position where you've capped a point so quickly and you find a couple picks on your way in, you can make it super difficult for these CTs to find these retakes. And you talk about difficult maps to take. Talk about point B on Inferno. I mean, how difficult can that be to find a retake on that actually goes through? I mean, very, very difficult, but we'll have to wait and see if that ends up happening as we resolve some issues on our end. But all things point to this being a 2-0 win from Raised by Pixels, at least I think. And I think they're going to be in a position where they're going to want to go for this win hard. 2-0 in the group already. This is technically a round 3 match, so you want to make sure you can get your win, go 3-0 in the group, which basically guarantees you a spot in the playoffs when the time comes.
Yeah, they've got a lot to fight for here. It's not only the fact that they're favored in this matchup just on paper, it's the fact that they have something to fight for, whereas Exnitas, this is sort of a less consequential map for them. I believe you said that this is their first one. I'm not sure if this game had to get pushed back or are they only 1-0, you said? I can't remember exactly.
They did lose 1 already. This was to 10 Toes Down, another intermediate team. That was an 0-2 loss coming in for Exnitas. But I think the pressure for them, because I think if you lose this game, you're in a really tough spot if you want to hope to make it out of the group. So I think there's a lot riding for both of these teams. And good news for Exnitas is you do find the first pick of this match and make that a second one as another pick goes the way of the T's in the apartment. So it's an opportunity for them to take advantage of it, but of course, as soon as I say that's Jolt and Atlia putting a stop to anything that Exnitas wants to try and get going here. But 2v2, still a lot of time left in the round.
Yeah, issue is Beezus just had so much to deal with there. Still had another player from bottom banana he had to be careful of and just can't quite get out of mid. Now it's all left up to Kitchen in a 1v2. There's a way around the A site right now. Bomb firmly in possession of Raised by Pixels, though, so he's got to find a way to isolate these duels. They are very separated, and he could find himself an easy fight over here towards Boiler. His opponent isn't quite ready for the angle, and he is not. So Kitchen, he kicks off this 1v2, and now only has to find 1 more player. Clock is ticking against him. Long-range fight with that AK. He just needs that 1 headshot. He actually recovers that bomb. It's going to fall back to the site. We've got ourselves a post plan for Exnitas to work with.
And this is very favorable for Exnitas too, because Luke coming in only about 33 HP, so it's going to take about 2 or 3 bullets to really get him down, but the timing not going the way of Exnitas' Kitchen, going the exact wrong way. So Luke is able to get this done. Does have the utility to maybe do it as well with this kit, so if you're Kitchen...
Be perfect for him. He actually goes all the way around. Luke's going to think that he's over towards Library. No, but Kitchen goes back. He had it in the palm of his hands. He just had to commit to that wrap, but Vegas, he'll stamp that one down, or Luke, rather. That's a 3-0 start. Close to the 1v2, but no cigar. And a lack of resolve is what does Exnitas in.
And I think that's the experience coming out if you're Raised by Pixels, right? I mean, that's an advanced team that you're very calm in that situation. Vegas Luke, no matter who it is, they have the ability to know exactly what they need to do to make sure that this round goes their way. So really, really good composure being shown from Raised by Pixels early, especially when, a couple picks don't go your way at the start of a round. Really good to really get yourself back into it and find a round win. And now already you're in a position where if you find another round win here, you're really going to be cruising for the middle portion of this first half.
Luke once again going to be tested, this time AK in hand. Got a player up inside a bedroom, and Jolts is close range with that shotgun as well. So as Luke gets that opening pick, it's going to be uncontested as that second Apps player just can't commit. And now Exnitas left. Only option with them is going to be this banana hit. That has been surrendered, but that's because it's a double setup on the back of the site by Raised by Pixels, and they've got plenty of util to stall out this hit.
Let's see how Exnitas approach this. I mean, you have two players up near top banana on the other side of that smoke, and already this crossfire getting set up from Raised by Pixels. So this is going to be pretty dangerous if you want to try and go for this. You call out the boost there, but not going to last for long as the re-smoke comes out as well. And how long, if you're Exnitas, are you going to try and wait to delay this? I mean, you're going to have less than 30 seconds to really get this here. First one coming through, and the picks start to come through, but massive double from Beezus. That wins the site for Exnitas. Massive, but here comes the retake from Raised by Pixels.
And on top of that, Beezus is low HP. He's at least able to strip away one more before he's felled by Bright. And now it comes down to this 2v2. We said earlier, it's so difficult to retake this map. A flurry of utility coming out from Broadbeat Crits, just trying to hold that line. Jolts will swap out to the M4, AK in the hand of Bright, and they start to make their way in towards this site. Trying to isolate these duels, but it's a good post plant for Exnitas to work off of. Bomb planted firmly for them, and now they confirm the position of both players. Bobby Crits will add one to the tally. It's all left up to Bright. He's spraying away, but with such low time, even with the kit, it does not matter. This is Exnitas' first round.
Very, very well done from Exnitas to get that done. It wasn't pretty, but a win is a win in this case, and that was the one you needed to just save your eco for a couple more rounds here. So good that they're able to get onto the board. I liked what we saw from that post plant in order to make it a little bit uncomfortable for Raised by Pixels to get that done. Although, like we said, it was definitely very, very ugly. Damage was done, and you weren't able to escape. But still, you're within two now. You get some confidence going, but ooh, not a good start as that off going to be ringing out early in this round. And Raised by Pixels, they're going to get their foot forward once again.
Raised by Pixels have been really good at getting these opening picks as well. I think it's only one round we've seen them lose the opening pick, and they even ended up winning that, surprisingly. Now Exnitas, they're going to go exploring back over towards this A site. It hasn't favored them so far. Their best success has been on B, but you got to throw a wrench in the works. Jolts is going to swing out. Luke with that off brings out for one, but they quickly get felled. Issue is Bright has wrapped around the backside. There's a frantic fight over on the A site, results in a 2v2, and Raised by Pixels surely going to be wanting to go for this one. They feel like they're so close.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to go for this one, but not able to clear out stairs there, and Ho-Ho's out just very quietly securing that double. Now Exnitas definitely in a good position to make this first map of Inferno a lot more interesting than I think we were expecting. Despite the skill level, I've been impressed with what we've seen out of Exnitas in these last two rounds. It was a rough start, but really good response to get back in the way of things, and they're going to get rewarded. That's going to be an op invested for Ryuji. And Raised by Pixels now relegated to the MP9, so all things point to Exnitas being able to tie this one here.
And really scrappy rounds as well. They've sort of just, I feel like, thrown the playbook out the window, potentially, for this. They feel like they have to just brawl it out. If they play by the basics, Raised by Pixels is just going to outclass them. And so just try and make things hectic, make things frantic. Punish Raised by Pixels for perhaps being a little too uniform and not able to adapt to the chaos. Although Tyler is going to just push in with that MP9 and get Beezus. There is a quick response out of the op, but now it's a 4v4, and they're kind of scratching their head for where the next assault is going to come from. They hear these SMGs rattling out. Actually, Dink's Kitchen down to 37. So now they're just going to regroup, go towards this B site where there's only one defender here right now to hold them off. second rotates in through CT. As long as they can gun down these SMGs, they'll be fine. Kitchen jumping through the air with the Mac 10. It's looking like east side belongs to
just a flurry of activity happening right now, but still a lot closer, I think, than Exnitas was hoping, and this now becomes somewhat realistic for raisedbypixels. That's going to be an upgrade for Vegas, but not going to be able to use it as Ho-Ho's now once again playing the hero, but Jolt with a massive double, and that is a huge play for raisedbypixels so they can reestablish that 2-round lead.
Oh, putting the MP9 to work. I don't think it was ever nerfed. I think it was all a myth because Jolt makes that thing sing, and even upgrades to an AWP for his troubles. Like you said, 2-round lead reestablished for raisedbypixels. And on top of that, that kind of sits Exnitas back down in terms of the economy. Now have to go for a partial investment just so that they're not completely off kilter.
Yeah, it's the kind of round where, you know, for raisedbypixels, it rights the ship a little bit. You know, you give up 2, definitely rounds that were winnable at times that just kind of slip through your fingers. You reestablish your dominance. You force this eco round for Exnitas. Now it's time to reestablish your dominance and prove why you deserve to get a playoff spot in Crossfire. But they're still going to have to fight a little bit. I don't think Exnitas is going to go quietly in this case. And here they come, trying to take space out in your apartments. It's Kitchen who's going to be leading the way, but it's got Jolts as the doorman on balcony, waiting in late for him. And Exnitas now, you know, bit of a spread start, you know, no real commitments yet. I think just trying to play off a contact to start, and ooh, an ugly gunfight goes the way of Kitchen. So now a little bit of space created towards A, and let's see how both teams respond.
Does well to turn that flash, getting ready for that heads-up fight. And he wants to take another one, but Bright will put him down with that MP9, so that should be M4 recovered. And Exnitas are going to have to go back to the drawing board. They're reconvening over at bottom mid. They're going to just try and send it up Banana, where Taylor is just trying to jump spot for them, but gets caught out. So now the B site once again under scrutiny. No smoke for the cross right now, so this MP9 is just going to shred them down. It's 2 kills and a dink. The off can't quite connect for Luke yet, though. And so that means bomb will be planted, and we've got ourselves yet another retake.
Really bold play from Exnitas. Like you said, no smoke for that cross, and that's just all raw swings right there. And to have the balls in order to do that, hey, it ends up working out. A successful eco for Exnitas, and another scrappy round being won by this T side. And we are still very, very close in this game. And raisedbypixels in a tough spot. They're going to have to sweat a little bit, and that's going to force a timeout. But Exnitas this time, I think maybe just some time to think things over, because you're so close, and we need to make sure everything is going to be set right.
Yeah, Tyler getting caught out there, not able to get back around the corner to safety. It's not right for them to be so close to that wall and close the gap as fast as they did. That kind of opens the door up for that B site, even with the multi-kill out of the MP9.
I think if you're raisedbypixels now, the temperature is slowly starting to increase. I mean, we had talked about how this was almost a guarantee, well, not maybe a guaranteed win, but it would be very, very difficult, I think, for this to go the distance. But I think Exnitas is proving that they're a team that should be noticed or should be feared, potentially. You know, intermediate status be damned. They're trying to make the best of their opportunity to take down some high-level competition. And raisedbypixels, I mean, yes, they're in the lead, but they haven't really done enough to break away from the competition. I think they're going to need to do just a little bit more if they want to scrap their way to a win on Inferno. It's definitely looking like it's going to be a game that will be close in the end.
I will say raisedbypixels has shown resilience in these lower buy rounds, though, so Exnitas can't get too comfortable, even though it is just upgraded pistols, unlike their last half buy that was fully MP9s. Still, you gotta be diligent about these clears. Close range with an 5.7, I've seen way too many rounds crumble to that. Kitchen's gonna come, clear out the balcony. He's in the most danger of this 5.7 right now, but as long as his teammates good for his trade and clear out these angles properly, things should be all right. And there it is. raisedbypixels will be able to take out that first balcony player, and with it, everybody else will just get completely overwhelmed. It's a beautifully played execute. Exnitas flawless on their way into the site.
Definitely being shown why they picked into this one, and the weaknesses on Inferno for raisedbypixels really starting to rear their ugly head. It is a lot closer than it needs to be, and that's a 4-piece for Ho-Ho-Zao. I mean, just doing it himself to bring this one to 4-all, and that's 4 out of the last 5 going the way of Exnitas, so they've really started to find their second wind after a rough start, and raisedbypixels, they just haven't made the right adjustments yet.
Yeah, flawless round as well. That's great for Exnitas, gives them that injection of cash. Meanwhile, for raisedbypixels, it's not all great. Yeah, you've got a couple of players with M4s, but Jolt, Sprite, they're going to have to settle for MP9, and Tyla's going to have to make things work with a FAMAS. Luke's going to take an aggressive fight here towards alt mid, though. It nets them 1 kill, but burned out by the Molotov means that we find ourselves in a 4v4 within the first 10 seconds of the round.
This is the kind of start you need if you're raisedbypixels, just anything but, ooh, knock knock, and it's Kitchen on the other side of that door. So Exnitas are able to find a little bit of an advantage now, although Kitchen being at 12 HP essentially makes this a 3v3 in everything but name only. As they start to creep their way up Banana now, it's just this lone defender on B. It's Tyla who's gonna have to have a big responsibility holding down the 4. 1 flash, and Reed picked up smoke, so is able to get this resmoke, but without reinforcements anywhere nearby, if Exnitas can get in flawlessly, this almost looks like a guaranteed round win for them. It's going to be really, really hard to retake. The reinforcement does end up coming through CT as Uga going to be coming to help with this execute, because here come the T's, and that's the first one going the way of Tyla. So massive, and so does that pick from Uga. Big help, and now Ryuji stuck in a little bit of a tough spot, but massive picks with the op. Right. In a tough spot now, needs to try and swing out here, but can't do it. Op too strong. It was very ugly, but Exnitas find their first lead of the night.
Yeah, Ryugi, good shots out of that AWP, pieces together that 1v3. A good combine out of Tyla and Uga, but it's not enough to put Ryugi down. And so now, Exnitas, 5-4, finally taking the lead. On top of that, your opponent on yet another low buy. They go all in on this pretty much, though. Tyla the only one to not invest. Everybody else, P9s and utility, everything they've got thrown at this round.
And this feels like a kind of round that you don't want to say you absolutely need to win, but it has shades of that, right? I mean, it's you're very much getting outplayed right now by Exnitas, and you need anything to sort of jumpstart your chances back into this map, because there hasn't been a lot to take away. Not after that hot start, at least. And now with Jolt down as well, things just go from bad to worse for raisedbypixels. Execute looking to maybe go over towards this A site. You have members of raisedbypixels waiting in the wings, but this Crossfire, they potentially get set up for this double swing. Ooh, big flash, but that's only going to be 1 pick. And Exnitas still with a massive man advantage. Lots of space being created as well. Okay, as soon as I say that, Uga with a massive double makes this even more interesting. Bomb is picked up, but let's see what Exnitas does next.
2v2, and you've got Bright tucked in on the site right now. Exnitas, if they don't clear this corner, it could all come unraveled. Meanwhile, for Bright, pressure's on. He's got to be careful of our trap as well, but they're both coming in through lane right now, making plenty of noise. He should be able to turn his head. Be ready for this. Bright to be tested. Passes the first test. The second comes into him, and he just wipes them off the board. That MP9 put to work once more, and we'll find ourselves once again at a tied scoreline.
Biggest play of the night for Bright thus far. I mean, if he's not able to find at least 1 right there, that becomes a really shaky retake, especially with Uga being all the way over towards this B site. That definitely wouldn't have been a guaranteed retake for raisedbypixels. So massive ask for Bright, and he gets rewarded with a nice AK. So for raisedbypixels now, no better time than the present to make sure you can get back in this game. If you can get this to a 7-5 at half, I think that would be absolute best case scenario for this, what we assume is the favorite in this series, but Ryuji, I mean, what a difference maker he's been, especially with that op. I mean, massive plays from your T-sided Opper.
Oppers come to blow, and it's going to be Ryugi coming out on top once more. They secure a man advantage in this penultimate round for the half. Now setting their sights over towards A. There's two people ready to defend it. Boosted up on top of the porch is Bright. Did well in the previous round, but this time he can't get anything, and Jolts is just one and done. So the A site crumbles, and Raised by Pixels so far away, they're just going to have to call for the save.
It's really quite something to watch. I mean, like, this Exnitas team, we really sort of undersold them, I think, when we were setting this up. But they have really come to play, and they have very much impressed me, at least. And I'm sure you feel the same way, is that even though this is a team that, at least on paper, is intermediate, they are absolutely not playing right that now. And that's ESEA. I mean, this is Crossfire, right? This is a totally different league right now where that doesn't, like, it still means a lot, but everyone, playing in the same playing field. And Exnitas, I guess the mindset is, why not us, right? Why can't we be the ones who take down a much stronger team? And they're looking pretty good. I mean, obviously still a lot of Counter-Strike left to play. This is the last round of the half, but if they can come out on a 7-5 split, very much a success for them.
I mean, you never count out the underdog, man, and that's what Exnitas is here. They've got, we were talking earlier about how Raised by Pixels, they have a lot to gain from this match. Well, you can kind of look at it as Exnitas have nothing to lose. Nobody's going to point and laugh at them if they lose this match. The pressure isn't really on them. They're expected to not really be able to hold a candle to Raised by Pixels here, and so they're just throwing caution to the wind. We've seen them multiple times just send these fights. Once again, Kitchen's going to go searching in towards Apps, but finally, Raised by Pixels will catch on, and they will shut that down. So man advantage, but that hasn't always been enough to secure the round.
No, I definitely am not counting my chickens before they hatch in this round. I don't think man advantage has really meant much in Inferno to start. So let's see how this goes, as the T is going to be shading their way towards Banana. They do have two defenders there. This is going to be the real point of contention. And can they get this rotate for Raised by Pixels in if nobody from Exnitas decides to squeak their way out? Bomb is given to Bobby Crits, but Exnitas still hanging around. And here they come through the smoke into the meat grinder. Raised by Pixels now. That's a deal with the splash off here as well, as it comes fast and furious. Uga, a massive triple. He saves the round for Raised by Pixels. And now Beezus, what can you do in the 1v4? Not much.
What a sequence out of Uga. He puts on a show on that B site in the last round, secures a 6-6 half. And so now, Exnitas are going to shift over to the CT side. Like we said, the more favored side, but don't let the numbers deceive you. Again, as long as Raised by Pixels can find that gap, figure out what the chink in the armor is, well, if it's exposed, then we could find ourselves snowballing very quickly.
And I think it really is going to be dependent on who comes out on top of this pistol. I think this is going to be one of the tone setters for the second half, and I'm curious to see how Raised by Pixels is going to approach this, although they're really, really motoring their way down mid, and they just want to overwhelm Exnitas by pure force alone. And Bright, he's leading the charge. Ryuji, he's going to be down for the count in pit. The T's are still coming hot and heavy, and they find 3 to Exnitas' 1, and now they control the site. They get the bomb down.
Oh, not quite. That USP starts ringing out. Ho Zhao is able to bring this at least to a 1v2. Much more doable now for Beezus as he's rotating in from top mid. He cuts the noise, dualies in hand, and he wants to try and isolate this player who is spotted over towards Library. But at this point, Raised by Pixels surely have to start considering this mid flank. And sure enough, to see that Library player turn his head back over. Beezus really wants to isolate this duel, though. He'll go straight in, and, well, Luke, he's not going to let that get any further. It's going to be Raised by Pixels picking up yet another pistol round.
Really liked how they approached that there. I mean, just full sending it, essentially, but huge play from Ho Zhao. You called it absolutely correctly, is that disrupts that bomb getting planted in the first place. I mean, I feel like we haven't really been calling Ho Ho Zhao's name as much as guys like Ryuji, but what big plays from Ho Ho Zhao. I mean, we saw a nice 4K earlier, obviously top fragging right now. I mean, he's been one of the reasons why Exnitas is in this position right now. Huge plays, just not enough to get them over the hump there. Although, another round that's very, very close. raisedbypixels. We're sweating a little bit, but they were still able to get it done, and looking to take round number 8.
Bobby Fritz gets spotted out by this MAC-10. I love it. Zeus from Ryuji. He'll back away with that MAC-10 just to get away with his spoils while the rest rotate over towards B. Hold up, though. Bomber's caught up in mid right now. This could get problematic, but he gets isolated, not able to collect that kill fast enough, so Bright comes right back, helps his teammate out, and it's going to be a comfortable conversion from raisedbypixels.
Now the rifles are going to be coming out for Exnitas for the first time in the second half, and I think this is really the round where this is your first test on the T side if you're raisedbypixels. I mean, you expect to win that second one after you take pistol, and even that pistol was very, very close. That was not a guaranteed round the entire time, so let's see what they're able to do now that Exnitas has much better weaponry on their side. And raisedbypixels, maybe they're expecting a drop here. I mean, this is not a full investment here. Still have a lot of money on your side, so definitely trying to future-proof themselves if for some reason they drop this one down, and that first one does go the way of Exnitas as Jolt's going to hit the deck, but Vegas a nice response to keep this one 4v4.
Ryuji once again trying to be the hero for his team here. He gets that opening kill, but quickly his teammate is felled, and so he'll fall back towards the site, not wanting to give up any more picks. Already an M4 has been given over to raisedbypixels, and that's a massive upgrade in their firepower. They now have 2 rifles to work with as they want to go for this execute onto the B site. That block smoke could be crucial in holding this off, but we might just see raisedbypixel going through this, not respecting the smoke. Instead, they'll bide their time. They get everybody set up in their places. They're going to give this a proper full execute instead.
You have a lot of util to work with as well. If you're raisedbypixels, you'll have a smoke for the cross, a couple flashes to work with, so here comes that execute. A smoke is going to fall, and here come the T's, and B's is just completely overwhelmed, and Ho Ho Zhao going to fall as well. The site taken over by raisedbypixels, although B's is still nearby, and the reinforcements on their way as well. So Exnitas, they're going to have a go at this. And Luke,
he's
going to
in the mix as well. Could come back to bite them. As Kitchen scales in, that's going to be man advantage briefly given over, but raisedbypixels, Bright is striking multiple down. It's all left up to Beezus against Bright. No T's tucked in towards Dark, and Beezus will be able to collect that kill. So Exnitas, it takes them less time than in the last half to get on the board. Instead of a 3-0 start for raisedbypixels, it's only 2.
Really great job from Beezus, and good wherewithal to just hang out and wait for the right moment to strike. And they pay, you know, they benefit from their patience, but they haven't broken that econ yet as raisedbypixels, that kind of weird half save. Definitely helping as now you're able to buy into round number 16. It's still looking very, very good, although Jolt's still relegated to that MAC-10, but still plenty of utility on the side of raisedbypixels. Another critical round that they need if they want to try and get another foothold in this very, very tense game.
I'm going to take some chip damage from that nade. We've got a double setup at top banana here. raisedbypixels, they really look raring to go for these fights. Tyler's going to notice both of them falling back towards the site. On top of that, you've got a decent amount of presence over towards Apps, but Joltz has now given over some sound. Beezus with the opening kill, but Tyler's quick to respond, sees the other one towards sandbags as well, and confirms that he only has an SMG. Tyler now confirms that they have control of car. He's going to keep going forward. Block smoke put up. Tyler can't quite connect. Ho Ho Zhao out to the M4 now, and settle at a 4v4.
Get a little bit of a moment to breathe in this round as raisedbypixels looking to think of their next move. Meanwhile, Joltz, the next one to fall, Attila, is going to find Ho Ho Zhao, maybe getting a little overzealous in coming out of that smoke, because now B completely wide open. The the numbers are coming back in for Exnitas. They're going to be able to find their way back in. No smoke on the cross as well, so they're going to be able to fight this duel. Ryugi finding not one, but 2 picks. Bomb is going to go down, but Luke for this 1v3. This is going to be a very, very tall task, and he's not going to be able to get it done. That's another retake on B from Exnitas.
Beyond an ambitious peak there over towards top car, but it's once again bailed out by Ryugi. He drops 4 kills on the round, ties us up at 8-8, and continues to be the standout member right now on Exnitas. Moving up to 19-10, topping the whole lobby right now after that round.
And what do you do now if you're Raised by Pixels? I mean, you're still able to buy in, but it just, yeah, you haven't had much success since those conversions. I mean, Exnitas just doing so good on these retakes. I mean, something has to change. Adjustments have to be made if you want to try and break away from the pack right here. Because Exnitas, they are absolutely playing up to competition right now. And, you know, you talk about how, yes, the CT side is very difficult on Inferno, but Exnitas, they're making these retakes, especially on B, which we had said was so hard to get back into. They're making it look easy.
Quiet round right now, but it doesn't take long for Kitchen to disrupt that quiet. Luke will go down due to an aggressive push out of these CTs, and they're just going to fall back off of that. Now hearing all this util coming in towards the B site, they're going to try and desperately rotate. Hoho's out, able to get one through that smoke. Meanwhile, the B bomb site has been lost. You find yourself in a 4v3 retake. Raised by Pixels, they've got only a little bit of time of reprieve to try and figure out where they want to position themselves for this post-plant. Very quick to respond is Exnitas. They're already over towards Coffin right now, and with that flash, they'll start to scale in. Ella stuck in towards New Box. Molotov's out, quickly dealt with, and this is looking like a flawless retake. All that's left to deal with is Bright, who swings through that smoke, and my god, Bright comes dangerously close. Ryugi has the kit, has the time, but that got way too close for comfort.
I think that's just been the story out of this entire game, is that even the retakes that come through, they're just barely coming through. And you can take a look at the HUD. I mean, that's 3 retakes in a row from Exnitas. Raised by Pixels, they're doing everything right in order to take space on the B site, but they just can't finish. Exnitas, these rotates, really, really effective. They're coming in so quickly. And I think you had called it out, is that the speed at which they come in doesn't give Raised by Pixels any time to adjust and set their defense. And they're paying for it. And still, as Ryugi just absolutely frying with that off. That's 22-10. Warrior Exnitas offer more picks coming through, but Exnitas, the beneficiaries of it, they still have that man advantage.
Yugi has bailed them out so many times, even gets the opening kill in this round, but now under so much pressure as the A side is lost. He knows that there's one up towards Apps as well, and his shot baited out. Tyler will put him down. Hoho's out, trying to rotate back in, but Luke puts him down. It's all left up to Beezus in a 1v3. He starts it off right, but this double face is just too much to deal with, and we once again find ourselves at a tied scoreline.
But massive for Raised by Pixels. I mean, you absolutely needed that just to give yourself some breathing room and give yourself some momentum, and another timeout being forced from Exnitas. And an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object has been the story of map number 1. I mean, neither team have really been able to really get out to a major lead. Both teams just scrapping as hard as they can to fight their way forward. And it seems like every time we think that a round is guaranteed, somebody is able to just come in and make a huge play to change the fortune of whatever team they're on.
I feel like Raised by Pixels still aren't even going to get too much time to breathe, because look at this buy coming in from Exnitas. They already knew that they were going to be on a double save anyways, so hey, screw it. Let's just bring out the SMGs. Got Hoho's out on an M4, but everybody else, I feel like this is going to end up being a very aggressive round out of Exnitas. We can already see that in apps. Oh, Jolt's with a shotgun, though, close range. Hold up. This round might get a little bit wacky.
That might be the best thing to quell the aggression of Exnitas, assuming it goes their way. I mean, this is very boom or bust right here, right?
I mean, the one redeeming quality for him, look at the head armor for them. Nobody really able to afford head armor, so as long as he's aiming for the head, he could absolutely remove their heads from their shoulders. The press of a mouse. He goes in. Only a leg shot for the first, but he'll confirm it on the second, and now scaling in towards Apps right now. He knows that there's going to be another one here, and he once again able to find impact with it. Although it's bright to get the kill with the AK, he's softened up by that shotgun, and that topples the A site. I told you this round was going to be wacky.
You know, I thought Exnitas, they had the high ground, and I mean, everything from movies that I've seen has told me that having the high ground wins most engagements, but clearly not if you have a shotgun on your side and your name is Jolts. And a flawless round, although Bees they are going to try and hunt for him. He might be able to sneak away with an upgrade here if raisedbypixels is not careful. But, oh, that's just that. You know, that might actually be best case scenario because it's Jolt, so you don't even give anything up.
Yeah,
and you get to take some rifles away potentially. And raisedbypixels once again back in the lead as both these teams keep ping ponging on Inferno. But we're slowly approaching the end of regulation.
Yeah, and on top of that, Exnitas have to take an eco here. This is really rough territory now. They're going to have to be really clean for the rest of this map, because it's most likely going to be raisedbypixel going up to 11, and they'll just be 2 short rounds away from closing this one out. It's an aggressive push up towards Banana. They don't want to respect this round, but eventually they will start to back off, not sending all their players in towards their death, instead just gonna take a more passive stance and wait for an opening to come to them.
Definitely gonna be playing off a contact, but I don't hate that aggressive start. Maybe you try and bait Exnitas into getting a little bit uncomfortable moving out of position, but they don't bite on this. And now raisedbypixels have to try and rotate as pressure being sent over towards Bracket, but Kitchen is going to be able to squeak his way out of there. Exnitas dancing through the raindrops to start, although raisedbypixels, you can just tell they haven't fully charged up yet. One pick goes their way, and they're looking for more as Tyla. Oh, nice spray down onto Bees as Ho-Ho's out with an answer, but he's going to have to look elsewhere as that B site cracked open like a walnut. And this is going to be not an impossible retake, but with only one AK and losing Ryuji as well. Even the AI says 99% chance of raisedbypixels winning this one.
Yeah, just with the weaponry, how it is, and the man advantage, it's about 1% seems right, which is fair. And also on top of that, Exnitas no reason to really go for this one, I feel like, because Jose's managed to get his grubby little hands on an AK. So send a bodyguard over there to help him get it out of this round. Although raisedbypixels goes up to 11, it's not all doom and gloom in this round. You managed to get out with probably the most coveted weapon on your CT side.
And again, I'm still not putting full faith that this one is over yet, because think about how many times we think that one team is going to take an advantage and then it just crumples immediately. The final timeout is going to come through for the side of Exnitas, and a lot to talk about, right? Like, you're in a position where you're within striking distance and you feel like one slip up, especially late, could cost you this entire game. I mean, you've been fighting so hard to put yourself in a position to win. You want to make sure that everything you're doing is right. And for raisedbypixels, sort of on the opposite end, it's you fought so hard to get into a position where you can win. You want to make sure you shut this down now and don't give Exnitas a chance to either take this one in regulation or force overtime. That's where things can really, really get dicey.
Well, do or die here for Exnitas. They've really got to dig in their heels here, because at this point, this kind of decides the game. This is their last buy round. If raisedbypixels picks this one up, and it should be an easy putt into a 13-9 victory. lot of detail put towards Banana in this round, but Beezus is going to come out on top as well as Ho-Ho's out, who does eventually go down to the trade, but still, it's a 4v3 now for Exnitas to lean on. Don't have to keep throwing bodies at this, and so they'll just back off and try and bolster their sights.
That's a sacrifice I think you would take 9 times out of 10, is now you secure a man advantage and things getting a little bit more interesting now for Raised by Pixels, although only one member of Exnitas defending this B site. It's going to be Kitchen, who's had a little bit of a quiet game. Not as bad as Bobby Kritz, but definitely not your star player if you're Exnitas. So he's going to be asked to get at least one if this is where the execute is coming through. But if Jolts is maybe able to find something on this lurk, that might change this play. But I think both teams are just going to be waiting to play out contact as Jolt's going to back his way out of apartments. The play has changed. Now let's see what Raised by Pixels want to do. Looks like B is the play. They do have the util to get this one done, but do they have the ability?
Kitchen first to go down on this B site. Now the smoke goes up for CT Cross, and on top of that, Jolts has managed to find Ryugi, so your hero throughout this map is gone, and Jolts is just causing chaos on this lurk. It's all left up to Beezus. He's just going to throw caution to the wind. He's going straight through this smoke. Going to try and catch him off guard, but Bright gets his gun up, puts him down, and now 12-9. On top of that, like I said, that was the best buy Exnitas was going to get.
Really tough spot now if you're Exnitas, but I like the mentality for Beezus, you know, just trying to go for it in that case. You know you're most likely not going to win. Why not try and take a couple members of Raised by Pixels with you? Doesn't end up happening, as it seems like they found their groove, albeit late into this game, and that's a massive tone setter as 3 members of Exnitas drop immediately into the start of round 22, and you have to feel for Exnitas. They fought so hard to put themselves in a position where they could steal Inferno away, but it wasn't meant to be. Raised by Pixels, it was a very late start, or very slow start, you could say, but they have made their presence known, and they get it done, scrapping out a 13-9 victory on Inferno. What a win by Raised by Pixels, putting themselves in a great position heading into their own map pick.
Yeah, like you said, it wasn't all pretty. It was scrappy, but all that matters is that they get the win. And like you said, that was one of their least played maps. So all things considered, now they're going to go into territory that they're much more comfortable on, and presumably could very well be looking at a predictable 2-0 here.
Most definitely. But before we start thinking about Mirage and taking a break, we're going to get through our first ad read of the evening, which is going to be SCL. Crossfire is powered by SCL. We want to thank them for their sponsorship. Run 24/7 training service, review matches in 2D, and build real-time structure into your gameplay. Visit SCL today if you want to get hooked up with them, and tell them Crossfire sent you. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to be going to Mirage for Raised by Pixels map pick. You don't want to miss it.
Touch the sky. I'll be running up and down. can't take it.
You never had any patience. It's like a vision you couldn't see clear. And now life's a conversation. You bet it's only one side of love.
I hear you saying, you say you like me better all the way, and I swear that I try, but I was so blind. They say it works it if you let them stay, so I count my ties. This is my good, and now I'm saying,
I've been sitting, resting, and drifting. That was all that I had. But no more, said no more. I faced it. My scars won't have ghosts. No more.
you will never love me like I do. I would try to forget you, but I never do.
And when I close my eyes, I'll know that you never by my side.
You will never love me like I do. I would try to forget you, but I never do.
And when my voice feels so light, maybe I'll be just alright.
I've been trying to.
know I try to pray for you. Even when we're touching, you always make a fuss. Okay, I'm patient. Don't test my patience. I'm trying to pace it. You kept me waiting. I try to pray for you. I try to pray for you. I'm trying to pray for you. Pray for you, for you, for you. I try to pray for you, for you. I try to pray for you, for you. Even when there's nothing, you always make up something. You know I try to pray for you. Even when we're touching, you always make a fuss. Okay, I'm patient. Don't test my patience. I'm trying to pace it. You kept me waiting. I try to pray for you. Okay, I'm patient. It cannot wait 'cause you test my patience. I try to pray for you, for you, for you. I try to pray for you. Try to pray for you. I try to pray for you. I try to pray for you.
She said, promise me nothing's gonna change, honestly. I've been on my brain like constantly. I've been going on my way. She said I've been going.
Apologies, everybody, for the tech issues. We've had a little bit of trouble getting everything set up and going here, but we are getting into the game right now. An 8-0 start by Raised by Pixels. Again, apologies for the late start from our side, but I'm Alderia, joined once more by Not Really Evan, and we're going to take over Mirage here.
Well, this is, I think, more of what we expected from Raised by Pixels, you know, just looking at the matchup, but looks like Exnitas, they knew we came back in the server, and I think they're going to be giving us a show here in round number 9. Looks like some pretty solid starts, and now Jolt's the only one left standing, so all things point to Exnitas finally getting on the board, but clearly we've missed a lot of action, and I mean, you can take a look at it. This has been a masterclass from Attila. I mean, 11-4 to start off for Raised by Pixels. Very, very solid. And on the other side, it's been very, very quiet. Ryuji, your top fragger at 6-8, but everyone else, not a good showing for Exnitas on the CT side of Mirage.
Yeah, but they get their first round. You know what? I think it's us. Exnitas, they need us
I
around.
think so.
They get that caster buff, you know?
It's true. It's a real thing.
Perhaps they'll start to turn the tide here. At this point, the best they can hope for is a 4-8 half. On top of that, with it being a Mirage, the side should be collecting at least 7. So things aren't looking too hot for them. But again, they're getting off onto a good foot here from we've started watching them at least. Just needed the Papa casters around.
Nice 3-piece from Kitchen to put Exnitas in a position to potentially find their second in a row, as now bomb all the way back, you know, even past mid. I mean, this is just a disastrous round for Raised by Pixels, and I think Vegas, he's just gonna try and go for as many picks as he can right here, because there's no way in hell he's getting this bomb not in this position, and he's certainly not getting out of this site alive. Kitchen, he gets the ace, he secures it, and that's 2 on the board for Exnitas. And better late than never for the CTs.
That sort of helps invigorate your troops as well. It's something about somebody getting an ace, it just brings the vibes up. You get that fire going again. Perhaps, like we said, this is what Exnitas need to get back into it. They go for a 4-round streak at the end of their half. Who knows what could happen with a pistol and a conversion. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. There's still 2 more rounds to go. There's still plenty of money for Raised by Pixels. This time, they go for control of mid instead of straight to A.
2 players underpass as well. I'm gonna try and catch this offer in Ryuji lacking, in Kitchen. He's gonna have to be careful now. He's in a really tough spot as these aggressors coming towards Connector. They're gonna be coming fast and furious. Beezus finds this first one and add another one to his tally, and he does get taken out. The response comes through from Raised by Pixels, but still down in the manpower, and they're gonna have to go back for this bomb on the very far outskirts of apartments. And now Bright, Vegas, however you want to say it, it's gonna have to go all the way around the world through T-Spawn. Or maybe not, as he changes his mind and he's gonna have to make a decision. B looking very, very wide open, at least from where we're sitting.
He knows that kill that Luke just got over here towards A main is going to start pulling reinforcements back, so he'll have the bomb site for a plant. Luke's probably a dead man here. He'll eventually be tracked down, but if he can strip away one more, all the better. And perhaps if he can even get out, he can link back up with his teammate. As that bomb gets connected, Luke is just trying to hold on. He can't get anything else, so now it's a 1v2 left up to Bright. He'll go over towards Catwalk, wanting to get ahead of this retake, as Ryuji, he's heading straight through mid. He's on a crash course with him right now, and Bright will strip him down first. It's all left up to Ho-Ho's out, and bomb is firmly planted for Bright. This is a nightmare scenario. Smoke goes up. He's going to try and hop onto that bomb. He's going to have to bait up. But Bright, a safe pair of hands in the 1v2.
I was a little scared at first at how aggressive Bright was getting on that hold, but clearly he knows what he's doing in that situation, and Raised by Pixels getting things back under control after dropping 2 and could potentially hit double digits before halftime. I mean, this is a tale of 2 maps in this series. I mean, Raised by Pixels just completely dominating the T side of Mirage. And Exnitas, this is sort of the diff we were expecting. I mean, they were putting up a good fight, but maybe just running out of gas as we get into map number 2, and a map that you had mentioned, Al, that this is something that Raised by Pixels, this is a map at least that they are very comfortable on, and they've been picking it a lot recently, is I think the best way you could say it.
They've had a good track record on it as well. Clearly a comfort pick for them. And, well, Bright looks really comfortable. He's pushing through smokes now, man. Able to keep that ball rolling from the previous round. And now it's all left up to Beezus in a 1v2. Catches Jolt's out of position, but the time is rapidly ticking down. Bright can just slip back over towards main. Once again, a smoke goes down onto the bomb. He'll throw out a flashbang as well, just trying to bait this response. But with Beezus such low HP and so low on time, really should be locked in for Bright. He closes that gap, and only one bullet required to bring him down. It's a 10-2 half.
And now you put yourself in a position, if you're Raised by Pixels, where you get the pistol, you win the whole day. I mean, that's kind of where we're looking right now. This is a massive round for Exnitas' hopes at even extending their life on Mirage a little bit. But is it too little too late? I mean, they finally got some things under control, but I don't know. It's going to be a very tough wall to climb out of. Raised by Pixels looking very much locked in, but Exnitas is going to get their best go at it. This is going to 5-man rush over towards apartments.
Okay. Most likely to be first contact here, and well, Beezus will put him down. He has that high ground, so will prove fruitful. Jolt's now pressured on the back of the site. Walks jumping into him. He can't hold on for anything. This B site gets absolutely clobbered. Pistol starts out right for Exnitas.
And I think this is something that they could tap into, because when you think about Inferno, the rounds they were so successful at disrupting things is when they turned up the aggression to 11 and were just able to overwhelm Raised by Pixels, and that's exactly what they're able to do here. Kitchen a nice triple, and you just don't have time if you're Raised by Pixels to make any adjustments. Exnitas do everything they can, a quick and effective B rush, and they extend their life on a Mirage by at least a couple more rounds, as they're going to get this conversion most likely. And Raised by Pixels, once again, they're going to have to make a couple of adjustments.
Despite the fact that they got no kills in the last round, nothing to boast their economy, still we see Raised by Pixels go for this force buy. So, you're not out of the woods quite yet, Exnitas, but a massive weapon advantage in their favor. As long as they keep these fights at a range and are placing their utility well, this should be a relatively simple conversion.
Exnitas now taking things a little bit slower than what we saw previously to get that smoke up in mid window. Nobody going to be home though from Raised by Pixels, as Luke. He's not going to want any of that, as he's going to back his way up. And now Raised by Pixels trying to make the adjustments to try and read this out. Ho-Ho's out to be this first point of contact, and the ladder is going to be able to spray down one. Here comes Jolt's trying to look for the trade, but can't get it done as well. Ho-Ho's out, and Beezus doing the Lord's work to make sure that Exnitas get another round on the board. Just another one going their way, as there's just nothing that Raised by Pixels can do right now. This is looking like another flawless potentially, but of course, as I say that, Bright's going to squeak out 2 picks. Bomb's still not down yet, so gets a little bit interesting, but Beezus puts a lid on it, and they do find that conversion.
Feels like every time we're ready to count Bright out of a round, he just makes things look really believable. He gets 2 kills entering into the site there as they're trying to get that bomb down. But still, nonetheless, it will be Exnitas' round. That 1v5 was way too much to ask of the 5-7. And on top of that, with this being an eco from Raised by Pixels, it should be Exnitas up to 5. So, you're getting there. Still a ways to go, but you're getting there.
Hey, I mean, we've seen crazier comebacks on this map very recently. So I definitely wouldn't count them out of it just yet, especially with how close Inferno was. I think for Raised by Pixels, you're just looking towards the next round already, right? I mean, once you get rifles back online, things should be business as usual, but you do have to suffer a little bit right now, and I think you just need to find a little bit more success out of your ecos. You know, Bray was able to at least steal 2 picks away in the last round, but You need a little bit more than that, and already things not going well as Uga is able to find at least one, but a swift response from Exnitas is going to put him on a bit of an island in a 1v4, make that a 0v4, as Exnitas do indeed get to round number 5.
Viking burial. They set his body on fire.
How nice of them.
How nice of them. But now, like you said, the rifles come out for Raised by Pixels. This is the true test for Exnitas. If they are able to win this round, I'll start to believe a little bit. But until then, you have to prove that you can best the rifles alongside some utility. You even get an AWP in Luke's hand. We haven't really seen too much of him. I'm actually a little bit shocked looking at the scorelines a little bit. It really has been the bright show, I guess. The previous half are Raised by Pixels. But everybody else, they're not doing too terribly hot, at least after this streak around from Exnitas. This is do or die for him.
Absolutely, and I think for Raised by Pixels, the pressure's on once again. I mean, you don't want to think about potentially having that lead slip away, but think about how close Inferno was and how much effort it took for them to eventually get over that hump, right? So I'm definitely sweating if I'm on the side of Raised by Pixels, but that's a good start as the op definitely putting in some heavy work, and that's a second one as well for Vegas. So a nice start to the round from Raised by Pixels, but Exnitas able to get some picks in response, and once again, just when you think that one team has the advantage, somebody able to make a nice play, and Beezus continuing to have a nice day on Mirage, able to swing onto Jolt as well, and this all of a sudden, what seemed like a guaranteed round from Raised by Pixels is going to be guaranteed after all. The bright show continuing. A nice clutch in the 1v2 for your Raised by Pixels superstar.
You said Beezus has been good on Mirage so far, but Bright is even better. On the precipice of 20 kills right now, he picks up that 1v2, shuts down the streak from Exnitas. And like I said, for me to believe in this, you had to best the rifles, and you got 4 out of the 5, but Bright proves to be just a step too far.
You know what, for Exnitas, maybe the lights were a little too bright in the big moment because they are getting outshined in these late rounds. Although, you know, you are getting some good responses. They are raging against the dying of that light. Still fighting. My goodness, just absolute carnage happening in mid right now. Somehow, Raised by Pixels come out on the other side of it with the man advantage. Bobby crits. Hey, you saw 1v2 last time. Can Bobby crits answer with another one?
Yeah, mid now littered with bodies, so Jolt is going to be able to pick up that AK, swap out that Mag 7. It doesn't even matter because Luke's AWP once again rings out. That's a 3K in the round for him. Raised by Pixels now up to 12 and 7 chances to close on their comfort map. And look at the eco for Exnitas as well. Things have gone from bad to worse.
One more timeout going to be called for the side of Exnitas, and I think for Raised by Pixels, this is going to be one of your best opportunities, if not the best opportunity in terms of raw power to find the win right here. You will have Ho-Ho's out bringing the AK. Bobby Crits adding a rifle as well, so all things are pointing, and Jolt, hey, he's going to be pulling out that shotgun again. It did wonders last time we saw him use it, so maybe thinking something similar in round number 18. Raised by Pixels on the precipice of a 2-0 win against a surprisingly scrappy Exnitas squad that I think has surprised a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, I think they turned a few heads, at least on that Inferno. And, I mean, with this being Raised by Pixels' comfort map, perhaps a few people a little bit intrigued by the fact that they stripped a few rounds on them, but at the end of the day, it's mainly going to be that Inferno that people are looking at as essentially this is a team to keep your eye on. They're maybe not fully cut and dry, and perhaps there's more than meets the eye here. However, it's looking like it's the end of the line right now. That boost up to heaven does nothing. Tyla's going to be able to shave that player off. Though there is a response with the Deeg, it's still a massive weapons advantage here for Raised by Pixels. At the very least, you've got Exnitas scaling into the A site, which only currently has one defender, but quickly a reinforcement is rotating in towards Ticket Booth. Back up Luke. That Molotov is going to give away the fact that this is an A-hit. Off can't quite connect. Schultz coming in with a XM, and he's just going to spray down Ryugi, and it comes to a swift end. Raised by Pixels, a 2-0 victory off the back of a dominant Mirage.
The XM against Exnitas, just too strong in that case. And Raised by Pixels, I mean, hey, we saw a majority of, the latter half, but hey, they get it done again as we're sitting here and getting ready for the end of this stream. And do not be fooled by me moving like a Charlie Chaplin silent film. We've been dealing with tech issues all evening, but thank you for sticking with us. If you have been watching all evening for the last half of Mirage, but we're going to give some thank yous now as we look to wrap up the show. Obviously, Aldaria, want to give you a big shout out for sticking with us tonight and joining me on the cast. Much appreciated. And big shout outs to Varsiel on the sticks tonight for putting out so many fires and observing as well. Big shout outs to you, Carl, for making this happen tonight. But we have one more shout out to give, and Aldaria, I'll let you do the honors.
Yeah, just want to remind everybody that we are also sponsored by myhud. If you like what you've seen, Crossfire is powered by myhud. myhud is the ultimate customizable HUD for Counter-Strike 2. It's perfect for casters, streamers, and fans alike. Choose a layout, tweak some colors, add sponsors on screen, and get a full map overview. Level up your streams with the new Smart Observer at myhud.app. So shout out to them. Thanks for making Crossfire possible. Thanks to all you viewers as well for making this possible. It's been a fun time today. Again, apologies for all the tech issues, but that'll be all for me and Evan. You got any closing words for us?
I got nothing. Thank you again, everybody. We'll be back with more Crossfire action this weekend. Make sure you tune in on both the A and the B stream. I believe the A stream is still going on right now, so we might get a raid into that one as well if you want to catch a couple more games of Counter-Strike, a couple more rounds. But until then, dear viewer, have a good evening.
This live stream is sponsored by SCL, an all-in-one CS2 training platform with a practice server, 2D viewer, and unique training modes like Defense Mode. Defend sites against bot executes that get harder every round. And Trade Fire, a pre-fire mode where enemies actually try to trade you. You can run every mode in co-op and track your progress and stats across all your training. Plus, you get an advanced 2D demo viewer. Use code Crossfire40 for 40% off your first month. That's under $3.
She said I've been going on my way just to try it. And told me I'm so down to earth like what you thought it was. And I'm really starting to think I'm coming undone. Starting to lose the feeling every single time we touch. big surface.